Fanny Lumsden and Dan Freeman. Welcome to Australian Musician.
Oh, thank you so much for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Just got some news this morning that your album, Real Class Act, has gone #1 in the country chart.
Yeah. Celebrating.
Yeah, nice surprise.
Huge, yes, fantastic. I didn't have any expectation there, so it was, we were just trying to sell it to the people that loved it and want to listen to it, so and wanted to share it with them. So the fact that a lot of people have been enjoying it is very exciting. Yeah. And it was a big Shania Twain week, so we're pretty stoked.
Yeah. It was a crowdfunded album. It's your second crowdfunded album. How do you find that experience in general?
It's just like the first album, finding this whole community that supports us and everyone pulling in together is a really exhilarating experience. We weren't sure we were going to do a crowdfunding campaign again for this second album, and then kind of tackled with a few different ways of pulling the album together, and at the last minute we decided it was the way to go again. And it was kind of a big week.
It was kind of overwhelming. We decided really last minute that we wanted to put it out through crowdfunding and just put it together with some really late nights, the campaign, and then we're just completely overwhelmed with the response. We just couldn't
hit
believe
its target in a very short amount of time. So.
Yeah, and it was a lot of people, a lot of new fans and a lot of people that just wanted to get behind us, and we just loved that kind of mentality of doing everything together, and like Dan said, the community aspect of it, because it really builds this great kind of kind of group of people, like-minded people, all wanting to do the same thing, and then they get to have a part in it as well. So it was exciting, and then we have been able to release it on our own label because of that. So it's pretty exciting. And I like making the little packages as well. My mum's been helping me sew fanny packs to send out to them.
You guys travel a lot. You've got a 97 Land Cruiser and a 78 Miller caravan.
Yes, we do.
Do you find that you can write easily on the road?
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm most inspired when I'm traveling and on the road, which is lucky because that's all the time for us. I wrote the whole record pretty much when we were on the road last year, and traveling. We did a big trip kind of around Australia, all the way from Tasmania to Broome and back again, and it really just allows the space, I think, to think and to listen to people and to learn stories and to get a larger perspective and a greater kind of view on a range of issues. And I just really loved that. And we listened to a lot of podcasts as well. And I just had time and space to kind of really figure out what I wanted to say, and often we'd be driving all day and we'd stop and set up camp, and I just get an idea straight as we're as we're driving. So when I arrive, I want to just go straight away and write, and it conveniently is at the same time as we usually need to set up camp and cook dinner.
Yeah.
So luckily Dan pulls up the slack there and does that bit, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go and sit over here.
She reappears just as dinner's ready, miraculously every time.
It's weird timing.
We did 60,000 clips with the windows down. Yeah, we took the long way around. We took the long way around.
The single Roll On is a bit of a tribute to the road, isn't it?
It is. That was probably the only song that I didn't write driving. I wrote that when we got home. I had written a little bit of it kind of on the road, and I kind of just hadn't fallen into place. And then one day I was just sitting down with my guitar, and that just kind of flew out really fast. I wanted to write a song that was the reality of the road rather than kind of a romantic idea of what you think the road will be, or even because it's a lot more gritty and it's a lot more unglamorous and it's a lot more constant.
Yeah, racing from spot to spot and
not showering and servo food, and it's a bit, and so that kind of whole listing in that song is to kind of represent that constant movement, constant change, constant stuff that's just going on, and if you're not paying attention, it'll go by and you'll miss it. So
we were very lucky. We were able to bring our two friends, Anna Phillips and Sam Brumby, who have made the last 5 film clips with us. We were able to bring them out with us on the road for a few days and for that film clip, and we feel it really captures the spirit of what it does feel like, just and this constant changing of scenes, and there
was a bit more campfire in it than
normal.
Let's talk a bit about the album. Would you say there's an overall theme to the album lyrically?
I suppose it has been inspired by the travel, and very much regional Australia. It's very much, I grew up in regional Australia on a farm, and I'm very passionate about rural issues and talking about those in small town culture and maybe the less unsaid kind of stuff like that. So I think if you want, probably like more rural based issues, and like, there's a lot of my family kind of tied up in the lyrics, and I love celebrating like just mundane normal life stuff in lyrics, and kind of representing actually really big issues with really like nitty gritty kind of events and mundane things of life. So I think probably like life on the road and
In the small towns.
There's a track in the album, Here to Here, which I love the instrumentation. It's so subtle and it's so finessed.
Yeah.
Did you try different arrangements of the instrumentation with that before you arrived at it?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we experimented it quite a bit. It was quite traditional at the start with just like my guitar and however we really wanted to. That song is obviously a very special song on the record, and I wrote it.
It almost didn't make it.
Yeah, it almost didn't make it because there's a similar song with similar themes with Real Men Don't Cry, but it still has a separate message, and I had written it after a specific time, so we really wanted to make it its own song, and I think that's one of the main things. We love working with Matt Fell, who we made the record with, because he really does help us. Well, he's one of the things like just let's make each song stand up on its own for its own merit, and really kind of show what it has to say. So yeah, we tried a bunch of different things, and we wanted to go for a more kind of a looser arrangement. We didn't want it to have really
the original
sound
guitar line
structure.
was quite constant.
Yeah.
Which is what that main part is based on, but then it kind of opened up a bit.
And we wanted to have kind of make you pause as well. And I think using all of that kind of more sparse but very quite specific instrumentation kind of helped that. And it was all done on acoustic instruments, so the whole record was. And yeah, I think it was a lot of Matt's influence on that song.
That particular song, Matt Fell, our producer, happened to be locked out of his house that evening because his wife was out at a show and she had the keys. And so we didn't wrap up the normal time. It actually allowed us to kind of dig deeper, and we went maybe a little bit delirious that night.
Yeah, I think so.
I remember that night being really special because we pushed through this barrier with that song, kind of really dug in deep and found its kind of sound, and it was really special.
Yeah.
One of the things I like about the album is its clarity, in that every sound seems to have a purpose. There's no
Extra
fluff.
Yes.
So the story is king. I guess that's a conscious thing.
Very, very conscious. Yeah.
Yeah. Song is king always.
Song is king. And I see myself as a storyteller. Like, that's why I write songs. So we did need that to be at the forefront of every song, and anything unnecessary was just going to take away from that. And if there was going to be a guitar line or stuff, it just like the least amount of notes you need to make it effective, I think, is kind of more like a way we looked at it. And we had Benjamin Corbett, who's a long time collaborator with us, and he came in and played on guitar and banjo, and he's so great at just making a beautiful melody line and just playing just the least amount of, like, just enough that you left almost wanting more, but if you played more, it'd take away from it. So yeah, we really love working with him in that sense. So.
And we had Paddy Montgomery as well, and Jai Perry Banks playing pedal steel. An honourable mention has to be made for James Church, who plays dobro.
Dobro on it, yeah.
On Real Class, on Real Men That Cry, and
a few other tracks, yeah. So it's really great, but yeah, that was a very conscious decision, just to be kind of really strip it back. So like sometimes we'd add things in and be like, no, we don't need those. Let's take them away.
Tell me about your main guitar. Is that any romantic stories attached to that?
My guitar?
Yeah.
Actually, it's quite a new guitar for me, this guitar, because I did have I have another guitar that I'd been playing, which was my mum's, and she had got that in 1981, and like I grew up kind of playing it, and she'd kind of given it to me to use, and it was really special and beautiful guitar, and then I was on a flight and it got damaged earlier this year, which was very sad. But I wrote a lot of the songs on that guitar, so I almost kind of attribute that, you know, that songwriting times to that guitar. And often I would be at my parents' house. They live in the Snowy Mountains and on the farm there. And yeah, I love the warmth that that guitar has, and it reminds me a lot of when I was younger and stuff like that. The guitar I'm using and I used on the record is a New Martin guitar, and I've loved it. It's perfect for me. I like little guitars, and I love its tone. I don't use a pick, and I've never had a guitar lesson, so I'm self-taught, and so I have a very unorthodox guitar style. Everyone calls it my claw because I use a lot of my hand as well, and all my fingers and stuff. So, and I find that the guitar really responds to how my style of playing, which has been lovely. So we're new lovers. We'll see how it goes.
What about you, Dan? What sort of gear did you use on the album?
I used mostly my upright, which I've just found out recently is just a student model. I bought it from a friend of a friend many years ago, and it's just a beaten up old thing, and I've spent a bit of money getting it done up, but yeah, it's
got a beautiful tone.
Yeah, I played friends' upright basses, which probably cost 10 times more than that, and they're much nicer instruments, but there's something about mine, it's really rough and ready, and you have to give it a lot to get that nice tone out of it, and yet I haven't played another bass like it, so yeah. And
we took it all, it's travelled all Australia with us, that double bass, and it's, got a few marks here and there, but it really has, I feel like it is like kind of like this really integral part of what we do and how we create the music, which is why we started the record with Watershed, which is primarily the guitar and the double bass are the two main instruments in that, because that's what we do most of the year, is just the two of us are playing, and sometimes the stomp box, but most of the time it's just guitar and double bass and two vocals. And so we wanted to open that album including with a double bass solo, which isn't usual, I don't think, for the opening track, but that represents us and what we do, and we really wanted to use that as the opening track. So
yeah, so all the people that we've played in front of all around the country that have just met the two of us, they'll get that sound first.
Yeah, so that was great. But yeah, I think your bass is very much part of it. You've just started playing a stick bass as well, by
Steve Azzola.
Yeah, and it's beautiful, really beautiful, but it brings like a new energy to the kind of musical relationship, I suppose, which is exciting.
You've started a fairly extensive tour of community halls.
Yes.
What is it about community halls that you like?
I love
the communities.
Their heart and soul, honestly. It's as lame as it sounds, it's so true, because we've been doing this tour for 6 years now, and I'm putting the Country Halls tour, and we've been putting on shows in country halls pretty much all over the place, and the whole community comes out, and everyone's so excited that you're there, and we're so excited that they're there, and it's this really beautiful mutual thing that happens. It's like a two-way interaction rather than just us getting on a stage, playing to an audience, saying hi, going. It's really, like the PNC come and put on a barbecue, like
and they
the
have
footy club do the bar, like
the whole community's done a working bee that morning, kind of sweep out the place and put the chairs out and
Can you
decorate.
get a cup of tea and a scone?
You can get a cup of tea and a scone. There's always good cake. Always the CWA ladies have catered well. And everyone feels like they have a part and they have a role there, and I think I love that. And I grew up going to events in little halls, and as you drive up, you see the lights in this hall in the middle of like nowhere a lot of the time, and it's just like this excitement. It's so exciting. Like I get excited talking about it. I always do this thing before the show starts, and I'll just walk like a couple hundred meters away from the hall, and I just stand back and I look, and it's just like so exciting. It's like all these cars, kids tearing around the outside, and just like this, and then we get to share stories with them, share music, share a really good time. And I just love them so much.
Yeah, and I suppose the walls tell you a lot about
they do.
The town too, don't they?
Yeah, there's like, all the honour rolls and, pictures of the Queen in every single one and all sorts of things. And they really are like kind of, like the beating heart of that community. And often now that they've kind of been used a little bit less. And so often like communities will be like, thanks, we haven't had an event here for so long, this is awesome, and you're like, oh, like thanks for having us, because it's just as beneficial for us, so it's great.
What are they like acoustically in general?
Challenging.
Yeah, that's the short answer, yeah. Well, they're designed for pre-amplified sound, you know, they're designed for when the old hall bands would play without any amplification.
Or just one mic or something, yeah.
And so we do challenge them, and we do challenge our sound guys as well. But
we do.
it's
We
worth
have to
the
have
effort.
some pretty great sound guys on board and women on board to help us really kind of utilize it. But you know, we make it. We still do it full band. I don't want to change that. Because I really want to put on a show. Like I want to bring the full show to whatever hall, wherever they are. Like we were just out at Marra Creek, which is about 150 k's northwest of Warren in northwest New South Wales. Nothing. You just drive, and then there's like a shed hall, and you know people come from everywhere. So I want to give them a show. So yeah, we just have to work with the sound.
Yeah. The tour, you've got tour dates right into 2018.
Yes.
What else is happening for you next year?
We've got a few other tours that we're planning actually, just straight after that. A few festivals. I'm always writing, so I'll just keep writing. I'm not a project-based writer, I just write. So we'll be doing that. We're kind of toying with the idea of going overseas maybe and kind of testing the waters a little bit, but we'll definitely be doing more touring. We just tour all the time. We love it so much, and we just want to go to some areas we haven't been yet with our two-piece and our caravan tours. So we want to do that, and we might have our honeymoon, which will be a year and a half late.
It was April, now it's getting pushed back to June now. We'll squeeze it in somewhere.
We'll squeeze it in at some point, maybe 2020.
Right, Fanny Lumsden and Dan Freeman, thanks for your time.
Thank you so much for having us.